WBKB, the governor's recommendations for next year's budget were announced today.
Plus, one local school store is given a statewide recognition, and love is in the air and online, but so are romance scams. We'll tell you how to avoid them.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Cruz.
And I'm Sherry Stewart. Governor Whitmer's budget for the 2022 fiscal year was introduced to a joint legislation today in Lansing. State Budget Director David Masserone outlined the budget recommendations this morning to a joint session of the House and Senate Appropriations Committee. The budget calls for the largest investment in K-12 schools in state history. The governor recommends $14.7 billion of her $60+ billion budget to go towards schools, including a one-time 2% increase in higher education funding, universities, and community colleges. Senator Stamas, who represents Alpena in the 36th District, says he looks forward to working with the governor to provide a plan for Michiganders.
Despite the differences, we have many of the same budget goals. I look forward to working with the governor and our legislative colleagues to find common ground on a responsible spending plan that helps improve our state and the lives of the Michigan people.
The budget also included monies toward repairing infrastructure, including around $300 million for a bridge repair across Michigan. 59 bridges in the state are currently closed, and around 70 more need repairs that the funding would provide. The budget also includes $70 million to universities and colleges that adopt testing and contact tracing policies, as well as $38 million to nursing homes.
The House impeachment managers finished their opening statement in the third day of the impeachment trial against former President Trump. Impeachment managers today look to show that rioters in Washington, D.C. on January 6th were following the president's orders. The managers also seek to prove that the riots in the Capitol on the 6th were a culmination of the president's action over the years, and that the riots in Lansing and alleged plot against Governor Whitmer were connected.
He could not bring himself to publicly oppose a kidnapping and potential assassination conspiracy plot against a sitting governor of one of our 50 states? Trump knew exactly what he was doing in inciting the January 6th mob.
And the impeachment managers finished their opening statement this afternoon, and the defense began their 16 hours of presentation. And the trial for 5 of the men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Whitmer has been postponed. The trial for the 5 men was originally set for March 23rd, but has been pushed back 7 months until October. The reason for the postponement is to give defense lawyers more time to receive and analyze evidence. In October of 2020, a group of extremists upset with Whitmer's pandemic restrictions had their plot to kidnap her broken up by the FBI. 6 people were charged in federal court, while 8 were charged in state courts for assisting them. Of the 6, Ty Garbin pleaded guilty last month and plans to cooperate with prosecutors.
Alpena High School Campus Closet achieved gold recertification for the 2020-2021 school year through DECA's School-Based Enterprise Certification Program. Campus Closet will be among 246 SBEs recognized during DECA's Virtual International Career Development Conference this April. DECA has been an effective tool for over 4 decades, providing students with practical learning experiences and preparing them for college and careers. DECA members Jenna Zielaskowski and Mackenzie Hayliger contributed to the certification with help of their DECA chapter advisor, Melissa Timrek. Zielaskowski says they spent about a month working on writing the almost 20-page recertification. She says the project was very involved, but well worth it.
I felt very accomplished. I felt like I completed a huge task that made me feel really good. It felt like my hard work had paid off, and I feel very proud to represent Campus Closet in such a significant way.
Ann Haliger, who also co-manages the store, shares reasons why the recognition is so important to her.
It accumulates recognition for us. It provides us with credibility. It evaluates our efficiency, and overall I think it strengthens our school store as a whole.
Sielikowski gives advice to anyone who will one day take her place. She says there's a lot of work and effort that goes into being the manager of the store, and the experience definitely sets you up for success. Rite Aid is expanding COVID-19 testing at all of its remaining drive-thru locations, including several in our area. The retailer says it's opening drive-thru testing sites in Alpena, Oscoda, Tawas City, and Mayo beginning Friday, February 12th. Rite Aid says testing sites will utilize simple self-swab nasal tests overseen by Rite Aid pharmacists and will operate through the chain's drive-thru windows to ensure the safety of customers seeking other services inside the store. Patients are required to pre-register on the company's website to reserve a time slot for testing. Rite Aid says testing is available for all individuals 4 years of age or older, regardless of any COVID-19 symptoms.
Well, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and that means love is in the air, but so are romance scams. That's a warning from the FBI. They say that while Valentine's Day can be an exciting time, it can also lead to heartbreak, embarrassment, and financial loss. The FBI says criminals who carry out romance scams are experts at what they do and will seem genuine, caring, and believable. They say con artists are present on most dating and social media sites, so what should you do? Here's a few tips for avoiding becoming a victim to a romance scam. They say be careful what you post and make public online. Go slowly and ask a lot of questions. Most importantly, never send money to anyone you have only communicated with online or by phone. And we have these tips and more posted on our website. It's good advice.
Yeah, very.
Well, there is more news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, we'll kick off Black History Month with our first feature story about African-American farmers and their decline.
Any signs that this deep freeze is going to let up anytime soon, coming up later in the newscast.
Ellie, hopefully everyone's getting everywhere safely right now. It looks a little slippery out there. Well, in the spirit of Black History Month, there are many untold stories that still need telling. WBKB's Tiffany Maddox will dive deeper into one issue that is still affecting a small African-American population today.
When we talk about Black History Month, we normally tell the stories of Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement, or the ideas and creations made by African Americans that we still use to this day. But today I'll share a story with you that many people don't hear about often, and that's the struggles and history of African American farmers. One Michigan native recently made a special discovery that's uncovered part of her family's history and explains some of the reasons even today why Black farmers in the U.S. are on the decline.
Land equals money equals power.
That's One Thought National Black Farmers Association founder and president John Boyd Jr. says was the motivation behind the history of Black farmers. And it's what our family's ancestors felt too, like Darylyn Walker's great-grandfather, Titus Orange.
So his parents had to be slaves. There was no other way around it. And he, by the time, when you look through the census, by the time it was 1920, he had owned his own land and he had his own farm.
After the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, slaves were considered free, but the effect on slave owners was too much to bear.
Of Lake Huron from Thursday. Thank you, Randy, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo, such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com.
I always respect these people that get up at dawn in the below freezing wind chill to take pictures of sunrises for us. I love it. Well, sports is coming up next, but first we have Jake Vanderbrook who's in with a preview. Jake, what's going on tonight?
Hey, what's happening, Tyler, Sherry, Ellie? Next in sports, one area athlete is one of 32 recipients of this year's MHSAA Farm Bureau Insurance Scholar Athlete Award. Find out who. Plus, hockey night in Alpena is just around the corner. We'll preview Friday's home opener up next in sports.
Well, that's all we have for you this evening, but we promise to bring you that video tomorrow. We just ran out of time.
You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
And be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great evening.